What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 34 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, alongside my co-host, Dev.
What's up?
And producer Jeff is here as well. How are you guys doing tonight?
Excellent. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. Well, we have a really good show lined up here. We know a little bit about Nintendo's next console and when it's releasing. We're also going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. The ESRB wants to scan Devroro's face. Ubisoft has some self-awareness. How did Xbox do in 2023 in quarter 4? Or 2022 quarter 4? We'll talk about that as well. Let's jump into the headlines. And let's start with number 1. Tencent, the Chinese conglomerate, is purchasing Techland, the developers of Dying Light. They're going to become a majority shareholder. The Techland claims that they're still going to remain in control, creative freedom and all that stuff.
Just they get to keep their IP.
They get to keep the IP
is insane. It's crazy. It doesn't happen.
Well, the thing is that this is actually what Tencent does. And it's a big reason why I do also argue that I want to see Microsoft, Sony kind of make sure they're protecting themselves from, companies like Tencent, and why I can see and justify the consolidation in some ways of the games. Pulled up, I get it, but so I pulled this up, I did some research, and I pulled up a list of, so this is every company that Tencent has stakes in, and almost all of them are majority stakes.
Yeah.
They own 100% of Funcom, Leiyu, Riot Games, Shark Mob, Sumo Group, Turtle Rock Studios, Wake Up Interactive, Flexion Games, Fulcrum Publishing. They own majority stakes in Supercell, Grinding Gear Games, 40% of Epic Games, Pocket Gem, Don't Nod, Bloober Team, C Limited, Marvelous, Shift Up, Netmarble, From Software, Krafton, Kakao, 10% of Ubisoft, Frontier, Katakawa Paradox, Remedy, majority stakes in Tequila Works, Clay Entertainment, 10 Chambers Collective, Jaeger Development, Fat Shark, Miniclip, Techland.
Some of those are surprising. I didn't know they owned Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm. And they also have
16 of FromSoft.
Yep. And they have major investments in Platinum Games, Roblox, Bohemia Interactive, Playtonic. So I mean, you just got to be careful about it, and it's just something to be aware of. People talk about monopolies and stuff. These guys are Riot Games, Epic Games, Ubisoft.
Yeah. A lot of the top players, they own Riot Games, right?
They own Riot Games. They own 100% of Riot Games.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of wanted to start off. I like how it's still Twitter.com. Okay. What are they going to rename the website domain? Because there's no way X.com is available.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Yeah, I just thought of that.
I really just thought about that too.
Yeah.
Producer Jeff, what do you think they're going to rename the web browser, the website of Twitter?
I have no idea. I don't know if they can get the X.com.
No way.
Way.
He's been posting some photos of himself saying, "I love Canada." Maybe he's going to do X.ca.
He's a loser. Anyways.
People are calling the new tweets Zeets.
Yeah, well, he called them that.
Oh, okay. I thought he called them X's at first.
Well, they are X's, but people are just Zeets?
Yeah.
What do you
I think that's better than X. Xing on X.
I'm Xing on X. Let's move on to number 2 in the headlines. Xbox gave via Microsoft, their fiscal year 2023 quarter 4 results, and some good stuff, something to, at least take note of.
Do you have Sony's on here as well?
I did not get anything from Sony. I didn't see any results from Sony.
Sony, the only thing I read, I don't know what they posted.
Well, I have the sales unit for the PS5.
Okay, yeah.
I have that.
That's
yes.
the only thing I saw.
But we'll get into that when we get there. But for now, the latest financial results from Microsoft's fiscal year 2023 quarter 4 have shown that the company has enjoyed its best fiscal quarter to date, with overall revenue reaching $56.2 billion with a B dollars, an 8% increase. As for its gaming revenue, Microsoft looks to have held steady, but has seen another large jump in Game Pass. During Microsoft's conference call, the company's CEO, Satya Nadella, shared that Xbox Game Pass playtime has increased by an impressive 22% year-on-year, while also sharing excitement for Starfield's launch into the service in September. That number shoot up when Starfield.
And I hope so.
I think it will. Overall gaming revenue saw an increase of $36 million, 1% year-on-year. However, hardware revenue has declined by 13% during the quarter, but was balanced by a 5% increase in Xbox content and services, which is attributed to the growth of Xbox Game Pass and third-party content. So based off kind of what these numbers are showing, the Game Pass is doing really well, and Xbox, the service, doing very well. Obviously, though, hardware is starting to decline. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that this is going to be an issue for them? I mean, obviously, we talk about how the vision is Game Pass anywhere you want to play it.
Yeah, I think they're planning on hardware declining. I don't think selling hardware is in their top 5 of plans. You know what I mean? I think it's like a number 6. They have their consoles out there. Everything is available on PC. Majority of it's available on PC. They're making deals with TVs that we don't even need a console, and they're still working on the dongle. I don't think consoles like that high up on their list. Yeah. So I think they're okay with that.
I would definitely caution them to kind of I was actually thinking about this as I was making the script today. And while I do think it's a good business strategy to kind of try to be everywhere and have multiple entry points, I haven't changed on that. But I definitely think that you want to make sure that you do pay attention to your hardware sales, because if you get rid of your hardware, you would have to be very careful to not come off as how do I want to put this? PlayStation, I feel if they do away with hardware, Xbox does away with hardware, I think that hurts your image as a premium product. And I could see people kind of looking at that I'm not just playing dumb, because some people do look at it that way.
That is true, but I think that's only a today thing. And I think Microsoft knows it. That's why they're putting so much on cloud gaming. And we talked about this, cloud gaming is not ready yet.
Right.
But there's gonna come a day where you can just sit down on a couch, grab your controller, and turn on your TV, playing a no console on your.
You'll sit down and you'll grab the controller and your eyes will light up. It's
yeah.
You see the game is your vision.
You're gonna see PC specs in TVs. You're gonna have to worry about that. What TV you get, because it has to be,
it has to be a gaming TV.
Yeah, exactly.
A gaming TV.
Yeah, that's gonna happen sooner than we think.
Well, all in all, Game Pass looks like it's doing really well.
And I think they're doing okay with consoles. You can still go out and just buy these consoles are readily available, right?
Yeah, I think we're at a point where PS5s and Series X's and Series S's
are on shelves.
Yeah,
or at least online.
I know Series S's end up being on shelves.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I do think Starfield's gonna
Good.
I'm not. How could we not? So Devroro, the ESRB wants to scan your face to verify how old you are to play a video game. It has been revealed that the ESRB, the Entertainment Software Ratings Board in the United States, wants to introduce a system that would see users scan their faces using a mobile device to gain access to certain content, such as mature games. It's a triple-headed venture from the ESRB, Super Awesome, which is an Epic Games company, and Yachty, a firm specializing in digital identity products.
I actually got an ad for Yachty. I accidentally downloaded the app, but yeah, I have Yachty on my phone.
You say you accidentally?
Yeah,
how'd you accidentally download?
I just clicked on something and I was I did it at work. I can actually uninstall it right now, but yeah, I have Yachty on my phone.
That's crazy. But it'll essentially place a blocker that aims to prevent young people from being freely able to access mature games, or potentially from playing any games at all unless their parent takes a picture of themselves first to agree. Could you how would that work? You just you would cut to a picture of your dad just going hey dad, can you take a picture of yourself, thumbs up real quick?
I might actually try, how do they know? It just seems like something that, for one, it can be easily fooled,
yeah.
Or you can just run up to hey mom, can I take a picture of you? And it just doesn't seem necessary at all. It seems extra steps. It's like building a fence that has a gate right there. It's you can just walk through it. You know what I mean? It just doesn't.
Listen, I'm gonna hop in real quick, and I'm just gonna say this is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It's
this is on the level of when you go to a website and it's are you 18? Yes.
What's your birthday? January 1st, 1901.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the level of this is.
The year. I don't think the years go back that far anymore, but I remember in high school, I definitely.
Yeah, this is
what was it? I think Newgrounds. You had to be 18 or something.
Even now, I'm just whatever. Just
how old are you? I was born in 1985.
Yeah.
It's listen, ESRB, once you put your rating on there, it's no longer your job to make sure of what the kid's age is. It's the parent's job.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with that. I think at that point it is, I did a whole high school thesis on my senior project
was on the ESRB.
It was on the ESRB, and like, well, I mean, the overall thing was like, do video games make kids violent? Which I do not think they do. But at the same time, I mean, I also had a kind of like a bullet point where I was like, at the same time, like, some kid, it's all about the parenting. Like, your parents should teach you. Like,
it really is.
Like, I was playing Grand Theft Auto when I was like a kid. Like, I was a very young child. I would never go out and do the things that are in those games.
Yeah.
Because like I was just, I don't know, maybe it was parenting, maybe I was also just a smart kid, but I was always like,
yeah, it's always both.
Like I know better. I was like, hey, you know what would not be a good idea? To steal a car and murder them, and like that's just not a good idea.
It's very low level and it's unnecessary, and this is in games the
SRB is just kind of like we have to protect the children.
Yeah.
What this sounds like to me is someone's looking for a massive government grant, and then they're going to put out the shittiest system ever for the least amount of money and pocket the rest.
That's what Yachty wants. Yachty's like, hey, ESRB. Like, Yachty's like, yeah, protect the children. Anyways, where's the money?
Exactly.
Please. Yeah, so, Devroro, hopefully one day, well, actually, no, hopefully not one day, you'll be playing a game. It'll be like, hold on, stop. We need to, Yachty's like, take a picture real quick. Just get it out of the way now.
And I just want to put it out there. If it comes down to where we have to scan our faces to play games, I'm out. Sorry. Not playing
I don't
the game.
think that's going to be a thing. And again,
to be fair, we're all old enough, but it's just a step in something that's like.
Well, also there is a privacy concern there where people might not want to be scanned.
That is true.
Like that is something.
But I think that's Yachty's whole argument, where it's like all your information's on this app, on a secure app. It doesn't actually go.
Yeah.
What app is actually secure though?
Yeah, I mean, things get hacked all the time and stuff, but it's
exactly.
Just, for me, it's just extra steps in something that doesn't need an extra step.
Yeah, I agree. It's dumb in practice.
Like, I don't want to connect my phone to my GTA 6 so I can play GTA 6.
I'll never play. Well, I mean, I think also this is like a big push in terms of the mobile game. Like that was kind of the vibe I got, where like I don't think they want to do this for everything.
Mobile games are like, you know any rated M mobile games?
It's like, who asked for this?
I guess.
I don't know.
Who asked for this? That's what I want to know.
The ESRB asked for this. Protect the children, Devroro and Jeff. Anyways,
born in 1901. I don't need this.
let's move on to better things. Now, Devroro, I put this in here because
I actually did see this.
This is really cool, but also like let's talk positively about the Activision Blizzard acquisition once it goes through. So, the team at Hasbro was asked a question during I believe it was a convention recently. And the Hasbro team was asked about their older Transformers games that are licensed by Activision, or that are published by Activision, licensed by Hasbro. And, what the plan is after the merger goes through. And Hasbro said this: the hope is now that the deal is moving forward with Microsoft and Xbox, and that they'll go through all the archives and every hard drive to find it all. Because it's an easy Game Pass edition. We want those games back up for people to have a chance to play.
But
I think this is a cool thing.
I think it's cool, but then keep reading.
Sadly, apparently Activision... I did read this one too. Yeah. But again, it kind of sounds like they're covering for Activision a little bit. Sadly, apparently, Activision's not sure what hard drives they're on in their building. When a company eats a company, and that eats a company, things get lost, and that's very frustrating. The hope is that now the deal moving forward, and that was the end of my quote, they think that Xbox can do it.
I hope so, because first of all, when you make a game and you put it on a hard drive, shouldn't you label it and put it in a safe somewhere?
Well, did you hear that?
Listen.
So, Kingdom Hearts 2 actually had this happen, where they actually lost the original. They lost the original master of the game.
Yeah, that happened.
Where they made the game and put it out on PS2, and they lost the original, and so they went to report it to the PS4 edition and whatever. And they didn't have it, and they're like, where is it? Do you have it? And I think some random employee actually copied it. And it's just thank God that employee did, otherwise they would have lost the master.
Yeah.
They would not be able to port this game. They would have to reverse emulate it, and it may not run the same.
To me, it's insane to build a whole game and then lose it.
It is insane.
And it happens.
It's not
Toy Story 2, the movie.
You hear about it all the time with stuff. Yeah,
listen, it's not lost. Imagine it being lost under a stack of papers somewhere and nobody knows what stack of papers it is. I actually work for a company that's a giant company that ate a smaller company that ate a smaller company. So we have 6 servers scattered around the US and Canada. it would just take a little time. They would have to know a certain file's name, and then they would just search every server, and it takes a while to do
right.
that.
Yeah.
So. The point is that Activision didn't want to do that, whereas Xbox, they want that Game Pass.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
Games are actually pretty fun. I played.
And I played one of them. I forget
Yeah.
which one I played. I think it was the Days of Future Past. I think it was that one.
Whatever this one is, I think I played.
Or no, maybe it was that one. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I remember playing one of them, and I was like, "This is a really fun,
They're pretty fun.
third-person shooter. This is good." I think it was also like a cover base,
and that's cool. If throw it on Game Pass, people will play.
The idea. Number 5, Futurama is coming to Fortnite in celebration of the return of the show. Have you ever seen Futurama?
Not all the way through.
Oh, dude,
but I've seen a bunch.
We
of
gotta
episodes.
watch the series. Jackie wants to. The 3 of us should watch. It's such a good series. I love Futurama. Well, anyways, Futurama is coming to Fortnite. They're getting a delivery from Planet Express, says GameSpot.com. After teasing the collaboration on the 25th, Epic Games has confirmed Futurama will be joining Fortnite's ever-growing list of partners, with multiple skins and other cosmetics included in the event. Philip J. Fry, Leela, and the Robotic Bender will see cosmetic bundles added to the in-game item shop on the 26th, which was last week. This is just really cool news. I don't usually... I mean, we usually do talk about the Fortnite updates, but I thought this was just...
Yeah.
If I played Fortnite, I would be all over the Futurama.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Rome, I am a massive Futurama fan. I could probably, like, word for word quote the first 4 seasons or maybe 5.
It's funny because it's not the ending anymore, but that last episode, the Futurama, is just the absolute great... Like, it is without a doubt one of the greatest last episodes of a show ever. Maybe the greatest. It's just... Do you know the last episode?
Probably. I never watched... I don't think I watched it.
We have to watch the series. Maybe it's so good. I don't want to say it out loud. It is such a great ending. They're like, it's almost also emotional. I'm getting a little choked up thinking about it. It's such a great ending. But yeah, this is really cool. Love to see it. And I gotta get Hulu because the new season is on, along with the whole series. Number 6. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is claimed to be getting a remake. The following comes from VGC. A Reddit user said to be a former employee of Virtuos Studios made the claim in a now deleted post on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit. The user was reportedly verified by the subreddit's mods as being a legitimate former Virtuos Studios employee. If this verification process was accurate, it could lend more credibility to their claims. According to the user, Virtuos is working on 5 separate projects, of which the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 is only one of them. The user claims that the studio is also working on Project Alter, which they say is either a remake or a remaster of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which will make use of a pairing system that will run the game on both Unreal 5 and the Oblivion engine. That is insane. It would be kind of getting like the Halo 1 remaster.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would assume that's how I read it, where it's like you hit a button and it goes from the old graphics to the new graphics. I think that would be
right.
Yo, what up, TJ?
What's up, Ty?
Yo.
So they say that also the project will be released by the end of 2024 or early 2025, depending mostly on if it's a remake or a remaster, and that the game is mostly being made in Virtuos's Paris studio. Other projects Virtuos is working on, according to the user, are massive, described as Monster Hunter crossed with Shadow of the Colossus, an expansion for Amazon MMO New World, and a narrative climbing codenamed Ominous. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely be interested in playing a remake of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
They're working on a lot of like big things.
Yeah, this is a very interesting studio that seems to be working on this project.
I just scanned real quick, so you don't have it, but Insomnia is also working third IP.
So I had to make some.
But
that was.
I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah,
because,
they are. Yeah, they are.
That's something.
Yeah. Now, Deborah, I gave you some fun stuff.
Here it comes.
We gotta get through it. It's just a little bit. It's not a lot. But Microsoft has sent its counter argument to the CMA. They've submitted that its change of circumstances document for the Activision deal. Microsoft argues all the ways the CMA should take into consideration new evidence and agreements, like Sony's one for Call of Duty. The Microsoft's latest filing argues these 3 points. that the cloud gaming deal with the European Commission ensures terms will be met. The Sony deal with Call of Duty addresses Sony's issue with the deal. And then Microsoft also points out that it is still working on a structural proposal on the cloud gaming side. And that would be the next step in the process, would be this structural proposal on the cloud. Now it's been speculated that Microsoft is going to use a third-party company to distribute the cloud rights in the UK, and that would be the workaround.
Okay.
In the chat, real quick, Ty says an Oblivion remake sounds good, but it needs to be a step up on the same way Capcom and Square Enix have done it. No remaster, please, unless it's similar to the Metroid Prime remake. Well, that's why I think that it would be cool for them to run it in Unreal 5. I think that
might be
that's the way to go, completely.
At this rate, I think Elder Scrolls 7 is that the one that's being
6
mm-hmm. is going to be on Unreal Engine 6.
Maybe, I don't know. I think they are expecting that 2025, the end of 2025 or 2026.
Oh
wait, no. Year. They said it during the FTC trial. Maybe it was 27 or 28.
Yeah, I think it was 20.
I think I'm thinking of the next gen consoles they're expecting. I think that's what it is. Let's move on. Number 8. Ubisoft. They've shown self-awareness. And they've gone out to make it clear that Star Wars Outlaws is not a 300-hour unfinishable RPG. In a recent interview, Ubisoft said that one planet in Star Wars Outlaws is equivalent to 2 or 3 zones in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This comparison led to many believe that the Outlaws could potentially follow Ubisoft's bloated open-world formula seen in the likes of Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Odyssey. However, creative director Julian Garrity has now clarified this by saying that Outlaws is actually very manageable. He goes on to say, speaking with IGN, our objective is to really get people into a very dense, rich adventure, open world adventure that they can explore at their own rhythm. So it's absolutely not a 200 or 300 hour epic, unfinishable RPG. This is a very focused action adventure RPG that will take people on a ride and is very manageable. Okay. Ubisoft narrative director Navid Kavari added, we've talked about this a lot on the team, is that yes, we're building open worlds, we're building bustling cities and cantinas and wide open plains, but we always try to approach it from a place of character, from a place of story, realizing that this might be Kay Vess's first entry into a planet like Toshara, that we've crafted for this. So that is always in top of mind, is fusing the narrative element with the game. Devroro, they just keep selling me on this game.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you know what? Like, this is just a great game. Like, we didn't want to bloat the world, so it's like, you know, it's a really fun action adventure RPG.
I like that.
But
that because too. Because it's Star Wars, I do want it to be like at least 100 hours. You know what I mean? Like I want to be in that.
Shut up. Just stop.
Are you serious?
Just stop talking.
It's the reason I'm saying that is because it's an open world with multiple planets. You go from ship to ship. It's like, and it's Star Wars.
Just stop.
Give me
50, 60 hours. I'm good.
No.
I'm good.
Maybe like 50 hours main story. That's too long. Maybe like 30. I don't know. I want, when I think of like worlds that I like Harry Potter, Star Wars, and all this stuff. When you make an open world game like that, I want to, you know what I mean?
But Deborah, the problem is, and I've talked about this, and I think that games need to be condensed. And there's a line here that Navid says where it's like, we're focusing on the character in the world.
I get that.
And like building around the relationship between the character and the world. And I just think that is just such a great way to take it, where it's just like, hey, like, let's curate this experience a little bit. Let's craft it to be a little bit more like focused. Where
when I hear that, I just mean like it's not going to be a collection fest, which it's going to be story driven, and I want it to be story driven. I just want to like.
But my follow up counterpoint to that is that like, well, if you make the world bloated, like if it's too big and bloated, then that's a problem. If it's too big and there's not anything to do, then it's empty, and then that's a problem too.
I agree with that.
And then like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many issues that comes with, where it's just like.
But like they already said, like one planet is about 3 zones, which is fairly small. Think about it. That's kind of small. It's 3 I don't know, and you have a couple planets, 6, 7 planets.
I want game developers to be making smaller games and making more money. That's what I want. I don't care. I don't need 300-hour games, Devroro, because then I feel dead inside by the end of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
No, I get that, but
I was dead. You came over and you were like, "Are you okay?" And I said no.
I know, but you played. First of all, you played a completion, and that kills that's what kills your fun.
It doesn't always. Some games I love completing.
Even
Most games I love.
Even Tears of the Kingdom, you got to a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to.
But I wasn't.
Game.
But I wasn't like upset.
Yeah, but you were ready to be done.
No, I was like, I'm content. I will once I completed it. Yeah, I was like, I'm content.
Even like what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? Was it last week?
We don't talk about it. I haven't played it.
Yeah, I know you haven't played it, and that's a good thing. I'm proud that you haven't played it. Leave it alone.
Sitting right there. See.
But also the reason
I haven't put it away yet.
I think certain like Assassin's Creed made a lot of their money, and like I agree with TJ saying, like it could be 200 hours, make the main story, and that's what I'm saying. The main story or the story stuff.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, yeah. If you get like, but that never works. It never happens. It's never that. It's never that. It's always like, hey, here's 40 hours of story, and then here's 160 hours of go explore the map and talk to everybody, and they won't really say anything of value or substance. Okay.
We're getting there though. Like,
also, in the Ubisoft self-awareness story,
audio background. Jeff, do you hear anything?
I think someone's the Doge is saying. Wait, who's saying?
TJ.
Ty is saying there's audio in the background.
Things that they were passionate about, of course, is authenticity. One of the things we were passionate.
I can't hear it, but I don't know.
To the galaxy of
if this game audio.
And one of the biggest.
Okay. I think that's cool.
Yeah. The Doge loves this screen. Yeah. I mean, if you like arcade cabinets, if you become a member, because we're partnered on YouTube now. I don't think I got to tell you.
No.
Yeah, we're partnered on YouTube.
I see the little money thing down
there.
there.
So if you become a member, you get a nice little badge. You know, you should click on it and see what the badge looks like. It's a nice little arcade symbol. We also get stickers and all that stuff. Anyways, yeah, make sure you do that if you like arcade cabinets.
Yeah.
Jeff got some little cool arcade cabinet badges going.
Those are cool.
Yeah. Anyways, where were we? In other Ubisoft is self-aware news, they've also explained that Assassin's Creed Mirage, they kind of gave an expectation.
Yeah, that I saw.
So they said that for like the main story, it's about a 20 to 25 hour game. The completionists will get about 35 hours out of it. And I was just like, you know what? Perfect.
That I like because Assassin's Creed, we get so many Assassin's Creeds, so it's like making that smaller. I like that.
Well, the problem is I don't mind. Like, I'm okay with that game being a little bit bigger, but like the big RPGs, like, okay, so this game is 25 to 35 hours. What is Red going to be when it comes out next year?
It's going to be a bigger game. Sure.
I don't want a 300-hour game.
You got to remember, Assassin's Creed, I feel like came out at the time where a lot of people got one game or 2 games a year. I was definitely on that list. I got 2 games a year, Christmas and birthday. So getting a game that lasts me till that next, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Playing Assassin's Creed for 6 months.
No, I mean, I get it. All right, number 9 on the headlines. There is a new Xbox update on the home. Number 1, if you're looking at it, they've kind of moved everything down, all the squares, all the tabs, so that way you can kind of see the real estate of your background, which I really like. Yeah. You can have it set up so whenever it highlights a game, it kind of switches over the background.
I think that was already a thing.
I don't think it was. So the following comes from the Xbox Wire. It makes it easy to go to your library, the Microsoft Store, Xbox Game Pass, search, and settings. They're all at the very top of the homepage now. And like I said, creates more space personalized for your background. It adds an option to change your background to match the game. Improves game discovery by introducing lists of games curated and personalized for you. I thought that was really cool. It's like, oh, hey, you play these games, like check this game out on Game Pass. I think that's really smart for them. Allows you to customize your home experience by pinning your favorite games, curated groups, and system groups like Quick Resume to home. Helps you find out what's going on in your community through the Updated Friends and Community tab. Shows you what media and content are available to you via Watch and Listen Spotlight. And that's the Xbox update. I think it's really cool. Now, it's not mentioned in this, but I actually did find out that they also made it so Venmo is now a viable payment option on Xbox. Cool. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. So, yeah, that's the Xbox update. I've kind of been messing around with backgrounds a little bit. I like the update. I think it looks really sleek and nice and stuff like that. I did hear kind of a dissenting opinion where some people are upset that they've pushed clubs or groups down the list. But to be honest, I don't know use groups like that. So it's like,
I mean, if they can make it customizable, I think that would be a better option.
Well, I think it is. Like, I don't know. That's just what I've heard. Number 10 on the headlines: PlayStation 5 passed 40 million units sold. Sony Interactive Entertainment has revealed that the PS5 surpassed 40 million units sold. The PS5 launched in November 2020 after revealing the console the year prior, and since then, more than 40 million consoles have been purchased by players. In February, the console maker announced that it had shipped 32 million units in the PS5's lifetime, which means in just 5 months, Sony has sold at least 8 million more consoles. That's a significant jump, especially given that it's been somewhat of a quieter year for Sony so far. There's no doubt the release of God of War Ragnarok last winter pushed PS5 sales. Obviously, also Horizon Forbidden West came out last year. The Burning Shores DLC came out this year. And MLB The Show 23, although that's not an exclusive for them. You got the PSVR 2, Horizon Call of the Mountain came out. Final Fantasy 16 came exclusively to PS5. So that's something that could have helped push some units or some hardware. And obviously, you have Marvel Spider-Man coming out this October.
Yeah.
I mean, PlayStation is the dominant contender in the games industry, and
they're catching up to PS4 units very quickly. They're going to surpass that.
It is really weird, and not just for PlayStation, but also for Xbox, for both of these companies to tout these how successful these consoles are. When I think back, all I hear about is PS5 and Xbox Series shortages and how nobody can get their hands on them.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then I think to the Xbox 360 or PS4 days, and yet these consoles are oh yeah, these consoles are beating all of their previous consoles. You know what I mean? It's a weird kind of
yeah. I mean,
if the perception is that nobody can get their hands on these things, but then on the flip side, the numbers show that people are buying the hell out of these units.
I also think that scalpers are way more prominent this generation than I feel like
that's fair
ever before.
That's Ty in the chat says PS5 40 million is likely well deserved. From a next gen perspective, Sony has given this stupid heart on the app reasons to get the PS5. Unfortunately, their competition Xbox has not. No next gen game bar Flight Sim. That's true, and we've talked about it, and we do have a little news thing coming up later to kind of show out where Xbox is in terms of how they're feeling about their lineup coming in the future. I mean, I think that they're turning that corner. I think Starfield is the beginning of them turning that corner.
So I hope so.
Again, I feel so confident in Starfield because they've shown so much of that game, and just the way that they're showing it, Starfield is the most important game that Xbox has put out since the original Halo.
Yeah. The original Halo?
I would say the original Halo.
I don't know about that.
Important.
Maybe.
It is. And I think Ty would agree with me. I feel very confident.
That, I'm trying to think of other games, and I think you might be right.
Because it's all about the perspective. Redfall fell short. And, at the end of the day, we can blame Xbox for not managing the project correctly. We can blame Arcane Austin for trying to do something different before Xbox bought them, and that's a Bethesda call. There are so many parties you can blame with Redfall. At the end of the day, it's in the rear view. It's behind us. We have to look forward. And we talk about Xbox turning this corner and Xbox in the first party arriving, the arrival of Xbox to finally they made their mistakes in the Xbox One era. Phil Spencer came in and said, "Okay, we gotta build this first party portfolio." And the problem is that takes a long time. So for them to kind of get here and be here in the now. And Ty agrees with me. Starfield is their biggest. Starfield needs to be that home run. It needs to be that home run.
I agree with you.
It does it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, obviously.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be, but it needs to be the game where people are looking at it and going "Damn, why do I not have Game Pass? Why do I not have an Xbox?"
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's the most important game since the original Halo, because without the original Halo, the Xbox brand dies within the first few years of its existence.
Yeah, if this game flops, it's gonna be very painful.
No other game in Xbox history would a flop hurt worse.
Yeah.
It would suck if the Gears of War franchise never took off, but you could be well, at least they have Halo. And you know what I mean? Halo, vice versa.
Yeah.
But now you're in a point where it's it's not just about getting that first party shooter. You just need that first party must have game.
And we've seen a lot of it, and I'm glad we've seen a lot of it because that eases me a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
But the part that scares me is the still if and how hyped this game is. This game is very hyped. and it's already making so much money on pre-orders, on watches they're selling. Like, there's a lot of stuff. They made the deal
The
with
controller and
the
the headset
controller,
already
yeah.
sold out.
They made a deal with the one PC that it's only being sold.
Oh yeah.
I forget what it is, but like,
yeah,
it's already making a lot of money to where they can. It just, I don't know.
I think it's going to do what they need it to do, and I think it's going to be a home run. I don't have. I mean, I guess I do have a grounded in reality, fact-based assurance. Like, my gut tells me they're going to do well by this, but then also in a realistic sense, it's like they can't afford not to do well on this.
Mm-hmm.
So like, also like, you saw it where they delayed it by a year.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, hold on, you guys want time? You got it. Like, we'll push it back.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll bite the bullet for that year. And it was a rough year, especially because Redfall, performed. And yeah, look at Ty. He's like, there's no if. This game will be awesome. All ye of little faith. Ty is
Hold on, baby.
bringing up the baseball. Look at that.
I want to be wrong. Like, again, I don't think the game's gonna fail. I think we talked about this before, where
You can't fail. There's no way.
And no matter what, I think the game's gonna be great after launch. I'm worried about launch. I think the game is gonna. I think after launch, with updates and especially the mod community.
I think that's why they took the year, though.
Yeah,
I really think that's why they took that year.
We'll hope so.
Speaking of home run, excellent games, Devroro, more Zelda games are coming to Nintendo Switch. Well, they've already come to Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons are now available on the NSO. These were Game Boy Color games released on the same day back in 2001, and they were developed by Capcom. Many people don't know this.
You definitely last week called up Nintendo and was like, hey, I need you to...
So some context, because I know we've talked about on the show last week. But so I wrapped up AEW Fight Forever. Mm-hmm. And so I have so many games in my backlog that I have developed a system. And I know it's fine. It's fine. We can say I'm crazy. I'm okay with it. Where I have a system in place where, like, it cycles through where I play new games and old games, and that way I'm kind of chipping away at the backlog in different ways where I can focus. So it's a 3-way cycle, and on every third game, I started this thing called like a franchise playthrough, where I'm going to play through a franchise. Maybe I've played the franchise before, maybe I haven't, and like whether it's new or old, it depends on the franchise. And so for the first time, I'm doing the Zelda game. So every third game right now I'm playing through is a Zelda game. And so when I wrapped up AEW Fight Forever, which was the previous game in that cycle, which was play a new game, I was like, okay, well now, time to play a Zelda game. We were sitting here talking, and I was like, oh, next up is Oracle of Ages. I really just wish it would come to Nintendo Switch Online. We were sitting here after the podcast last week.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the next game.
And then the next day, right? Was it the next day?
Well, so what was funny was I actually started The Last of Us, and I watched the whole Last of Us show.
Okay.
So really good show, by the way. Absolutely recommend. And I was just sitting there, like, it was 2 days later. It was Tuesday. Okay. And they were like, here you go. And I was like, well, there it is. They act like,
now I have to play it.
Now I said it to you. I was like, I kind of have to now. Like, the universe has laid it in front of me to make it fit perfect. So I'm playing the Oracle of Ages. It has the whole NSO treatment. It's got the save states, the rewind. It's great. Loving it. It was actually my first time playing through Oracle of Ages, like, fully. Like, I've played like a couple hours here and there throughout the years, but this is my first like full playthrough where I'm committed to completing it. I'm enjoying it. So it's just more Zelda games. We are at a point where the Zelda games that are not on the Switch, it's literally the DS games, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. Every other Zelda game, one way or another, is available on the NSO.
Yeah.
It's like 4 games. The two DS ones, and then and I guess a Link Between Worlds, so 5. I don't count Triforce Heroes, otherwise you can say.
Okay.
But so let's just say 5. There's only 5 Zelda games left that are not available
so far.
But so go play those games. They're great. Number 12 in the headline. A new Red Dead Redemption logo has appeared on the website. Devroro, you've started Red Dead Redemption, and the remake is seemingly coming.
Yeah.
But we're not. You're already like 12 hours. You're just.
I might stop.
No, you're not gonna.
If it's official,
they sat there for 2 days and watched you play this. It's not official.
If it's official, I'm gonna stop.
It's not official.
Just play it. Play the remake. Because I'm really enjoying this, but you're telling me I can enjoy it. Looks prettier. Sign me up.
Well, a new logo for what? Let's get rid of this. Let's take it down. A new logo for Red Dead Redemption has appeared on Rockstar's website amidst claims that the game could be set up for a remaster. Posted to Twitter by TezFun2, they also point out that in an update to the Rockstar website made last week, a game known as Red Dead Redemption Rockstar Presents Version (VER) has been added to the internal games list. It's possible that this is simply an updated logo that will be rolled out to digital versions of the game, bringing it in line with other Rockstar titles that also feature the Rockstar Games branding. However, last month, Rockstar's 13-year-old game was classified by South Korea's Game Rating and Administration Committee, which has a history of revealing upcoming titles prior to their official announcement. Also, apparently, there's a code name in the game for RDR1 RSP, which Tez2 thinks that could be Red Dead Redemption 1 Remaster SP. So we'll have to see. Red Dead Redemption's an absolute fantastic game. You've just started it. You're like probably 12, 13 hours in, I think. You're gonna keep.
We'll see.
You're gonna keep.
See.
Real quick in the chat, just to get caught up with what we missed. The Doge says agreed Starfall could replace Dangerous. Ty says that he feels every sci-fi fan is going to jump on this. RPG fans too. It's going to capture a lot of people. I agree.
Yo, have you ever seen Elite Dangerous?
I've never heard of it. What is it again?
So it's a space game where you have like your own spaceship and you go mining on planets.
Yeah, right,
And dude, when you fly from planet to planet, it legit takes a long ass time. Like that game is nuts.
Interesting. Next up on the headlines, Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider, is coming to Call of Duty in Season 5. No one knows why. It's a very weird crossover. I mean, I'm all for. I love Lara Croft.
Fortnite's doing it, so Call of Duty has to step up.
It's not long until the 5th season of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone drops worldwide, and the updates regarding the Epic update are spreading like wildfire. From an all-new roadmap to new operators featuring the likes of Dog and Nicki Minaj for some reason. There's going to be plenty for fans to sink their teeth into when the new season rolls out.
Excited?
I haven't played Modern Warfare 2 since
Snoop Dogg, Nicki Minaj, and Lara Croft.
I mean, Lara Croft excites me, sure, but I mean, I don't know. I think they should learn their lesson, especially after those streamers. They like, regardless of who's right or who's wrong in those situations. Like, I'm not even gonna get into it, but like, just don't bring real people into your game.
I mean that's a pathetic attempt to reach out to Hollywood right there. I was like, what on earth is this?
I mean, honestly,
it's Nicki Minaj is a big name, so I get it. I get the broad appeal, but
Snoop Dogg makes so much more sense.
No, he's been in the past.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It makes sense for Snoop Dogg to be.
Snoop Dogg's out here living the dream. He goes like on AEW, drops elbows on people, and then he gets put in the next Call of Duty game. Like he's just Snoop is, and now he's old enough where he's just that cool grandpa who's just doing crazy stuff. Could you imagine being Snoop Dogg's grandson? Where it's like, that's my grandpa. He was on a wrestling show, and now he's in all the video games, and now he's smoking a blunt on live TV, and nobody says anything because he's Snoop Dogg. Yeah. Oh, look, he's hanging out with Martha Stewart now, baking cookies.
Yeah,
like what the fuck. Anyways,
I hope this I mean, I don't know if you like this Call of Duty, them having,
Again, for me, it's like hit or miss. I don't want to I personally don't want to see like a Nicki Minaj or a Snoop Dogg or like anyone like that in the game. I think generally kind of sullies it. But like even like other things, like as much as I like, for example, I love Blackout and Black Ops 4. I think you can get the members of Avenged Sevenfold, and it's just weird.
Yeah. I enjoy when they do streamers, like when Tim the Tatman got his, Nick Merckx and like Dr. Disrespect getting skins and stuff. I like those. But for whatever reason, I don't like the Hollywood ones. I'm like, I'm not giving them my money. I'm not.
I especially, and like I know Jeff, like I think we just consume content differently. Like you do watch a lot of streamers and I don't. Like I like out of any of them, I really don't like. I have my content creators that I like. Like we were talking about Barry today, and I like Barry. He used to work for the Game Grumps and all this, and fantastic streamer. I watch all of his VODs, and like I would not want to see Barry in the next Call of Duty game where he's just like walking around. Like
I mean, it does make sense. So it makes sense for like the people Jeff mentioned because they are
for sure.
They play the game. They I mean, essentially they sell copies of the game. People watch them and buy the game.
I get that. I understand it.
But like these fictional characters, I think it's
those are the ones that I really like getting.
okay.
Like the Lara Crofts and like stuff like that. Like I think that's cool stuff.
Because I don't
Like,
play Fortnite, but seeing like all the characters they
Yeah.
always bring in, it's just like
that's
yeah.
that.
Like Tim the Tap Man, he can actually say people buy the game just to stream snipe him. Like they just want to kill him, so they buy the game to try to play against him and kill him.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
All right. Next up in the headlines, let's keep moving. This was some big news that came out over the weekend, Devroro. You have been once again proven incorrect. So Square Enix promises to bring games to Xbox whenever possible, following a surprise announcement that Final Fantasy XIV is coming to Xbox.
How was I proven incorrect?
Well, you said that Xbox gamers didn't want Square Enix games on their platform, and that Xbox
That's
had
not
no
what I
interest
said.
in Square Enix.
That's
being
not
on
what I
there.
said at all.
That's what I remember you saying.
Yeah, of course.
I don't. What did you say?
I said if you are a Final Fantasy fan,
Yeah.
if you play Final Fantasy games, if that is your game,
Yeah.
and matter of fact, JRPGs in general,
Yeah, sure.
you own a PlayStation. That's what I said before.
That's literally what I just said.
Okay.
You
that's
literally
not
just
what I said.
repeated what I.
That's not what you said, but okay.
So
If you're watching this on if rewind, just go back 10 seconds. Doesn't sound the same.
it's exactly the same. You just repeated what I said.
Okay.
Anyways, back on July 28th over the weekend, Square Enix announced that its successful MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV is on its way to Xbox consoles after years of being a PlayStation console exclusive. And to hear the CEO of Square Enix tell it, it sounds like Xbox has successfully ensured that even more Square Enix games will end up on its consoles in the coming years. During the Final Fantasy Fan Fest 2023, Final Fantasy XIV game director Nakoe Yoshida, Yoshi P, welcomed Xbox head Phil Spencer himself onto the stage alongside Square Enix CEO Takashi Kiryu to celebrate the Xbox release announcement. While on stage, Kiryu made the following statement. And one more thing, as CEO of Square Enix, we want to continue to deliver fabulous games to fans across the world. And of course, we want to welcome the Xbox community as well. And starting with today's announcement of Final Fantasy XIV coming in spring 2024, and whenever possible, we are planning to bring our games to Xbox for players around the world to enjoy. We're really looking forward to working closely with Phil and the Xbox team to make this possible. In response, Phil Spencer said the following. Thank you, Kiryu-san. We deeply respect the rich legacy of Square Enix, and we look forward to building on the relationship that we've established in bringing Final Fantasy XIV to the Xbox and partnering closely with you and the Square Enix team on future games. So I thought this was absolutely excellent news for Xbox.
Oh, definitely.
Excellent news for me, because again, I play JRPGs on my Xbox. I want them on my Xbox.
You do want a PlayStation.
I do, yeah.
You do. But go ahead.
Well, I own all three. So what is your
My point here? How about this? I'll just go back. Turn the
Don't
volume
do that
up.
because actually that mic is super sensitive. I actually learned the hard way. You should not pick up that microphone. Anyways, I own all three because I want to play all games.
And you do like JRPG, right?
I do like JRPG.
And you do own PlayStation. It would be really funny if after this announcement, Sony like we're gonna buy Square Enix.
Well, so actually, I think that means that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
This right here tells me that's not happening anymore. So, and I should have did a little bit more research, but apparently, and maybe we even reported on this, but apparently this is a new CEO at Square Enix who took over in June.
Oh, okay.
He just took over.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, that was what I had seen. I have to do some more follow up on that. I read that literally like a few hours ago.
So he probably has a different take on these games. We rather have these games on other consoles.
Yeah, maybe he's also like, hey, you know what, that NFT guy before me, I don't.
Yeah, hopefully that's done.
He's done. We put him out back, and
yeah,
he's done. He's retired. He's officially retired.
But yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Oh yeah, see, so Ty even says that he is the new Square Enix CEO. More friendly towards Xbox. We'll see. Sony might have paid a lot for 16.
They did.
But for the brand, it's ideal to be on as much platforms. Well, and I agree. I think that 16, I don't think you're going to see on.
Oh no,
anytime soon.
I think Sony put in way too much money for that to stay off.
Yeah, that's.
But they also
money,
we talked about it. They did put in money for the development. Like they got resources, and
the game was going to be made either way. Anyways,
I agree.
I mean, I'm still holding out hope for Final Fantasy VII. That's the one. That's the one where give me what I want. I already bought it on PlayStation.
Yeah, but I do imagine they did the same thing for that. No, it sucks.
Give me what I want. I just want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake in as many places as I can. I'll buy it on the Xbox. I'll buy it on the Switch too. I'll buy it anywhere. I just want to play
This
it.
is why your
again,
backlog is so big.
because I replay games. Look, man, I'm aware. Again, I'm fully aware of myself, and that's how I know that it's okay.
I don't know about that part. He's like a drug addict. Like, I know I shouldn't be doing these drugs.
The first step.
I'm aware of
The
it.
first step.
That's why
is
it's
no-
okay. Yeah.
The first step is knowing that you have an issue.
Okay.
I'm aware that I have an issue.
All right.
Just like I really want those Kelly Green Eagles jerseys that sold out today.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, this is great. Phil Spencer being on stage, that alone was just huge. So it's great for Xbox and
It's great for Final Fantasy 14
great
as
for
well.
Final
That's
Fantasy
a great
14.
game. Like, that's gonna
I've never
go-
played it. I might.
I've watched Forrest play it. It looks like a really fun
Cool
live service game that
Yeah.
you probably won't.
live service. What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I like you're like, I want to play it.
Live service. Maybe I don't want to play it. I have a big backlog.
It's it leans more towards MMO.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Last up on the headlines, number 15. Xbox is going all in on its Gamescom presentation. They are planning on having the biggest booth they've ever had
I didn't know this.
at
actually.
Gamescom. Gamescom, which is coming up next month over in Europe. As reported via Xbox Newswire, Xbox is planning one of its biggest booths it's ever had at Gamescom. This seemingly isn't just marketing talk either, with Insider Gaming being told by its sources that the team is going, quote, all out this year for the annual event. It's understood that the playable games will include the likes of highly anticipated Forza Motorsport, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, which that's a big update that it's playable there, and Towerborn. With these games being playable to attendees, we should expect to hear more details on each game during the event. Gamescom Opening Night Live, hosted by Jeff Keighley, also known as the Europe Game Awards in August, is one of the most likely places for such announcements, which promises numerous world premiere and exciting announcements. Hearing that Stalker 2 in particular will be playable is a welcome sign after the studio has had many pushbacks with the development of the game since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The studio issued the statement, as for now, we kindly ask Stalkers to... I'm sorry, this is after the game was leaked by Russian hackers. They asked Stalkers and fans of the franchise and fans in general to join the zone in the future and not to look at or share any leaked materials.
I forgot about Towerborn. I'm looking at images now.
It's a cool looking game. So yeah, I mean, they're going to go big on Gamescom. And again, I think that this just kind of follows with where Xbox is at, where they see the vision and they clearly feel very confident in that vision. So I'm going to trust them. It seems like that's... I just feel the confidence coming out of them, which if you had told me that like after a year of no games, especially like the last year specifically was really rough because of the delays, and then Redfall underwhelms. If you told me that Xbox would be sitting here 2 or 3 months later, whatever it's been, and they're just like firing on all cylinders and the hype's riding high, I wouldn't have believed you. But clearly they feel good about what they're offering. I feel good about it.
But it's one of those things where since the Series S and X came out, we've always been saying it's coming, and every year we say it, and it's still...
Oh, for
it's
sure.
coming, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. And again, like that, you can't really feel great fully until the controller's in your hands, which we are, what, a month away from Starfield?
Yeah.
Well, because if you get the 5-day early access, which I might consider, it's like $35 for like a steelbook, a bunch of extra content, and 5-day early access. I might get on
Make
that.
sure the game comes in the steelbook. You're gonna have a digital copy.
Yeah, well, it'll be a steelbook,
With a
and
code.
then it'll be a steelbook with a code, and then I'll play it on Game Pass. Well, so like that's what I do, because like people ask me, like, I've actually had people, wait, so you like Game Pass, but you
Still buy the game.
you collect games, and
Yeah.
my answer to them is, so what I do is, for Game Pass games specifically, I play it on Game Pass when it comes out, and then like I kind of sometimes just wait till the game drops in price a little bit, and then pick it up on the cheap. You know, like I have Halo Infinite back there with the Best Buy Steelbook because it was on sale. It was like great. Add it to the collection. Anyways, I do like what Xbox has started to do though, where they do like this. It's like an extended edition. They did it with Redfall. I didn't jump on Redfall because the reviews scared me off of it. But I'm gonna do it with Starfield, where I said it's a steelbook, a bunch of extra content, and like a 5-day early access. The Day Trading Doge. Welcome
Yo,
backstage crew. He is a member. Thank you so much, Doge.
let's go.
Appreciate that, man. Awesome. Now you get access to our emojis, all that stuff. Ty says Halo Infinite is trash.
It is.
It's
Sucks.
got its moments. It does have its moments, but it did.
Look at that, our first badge. The
Oh,
little
the Doge is using
little-
them. There it is. Look at
little
that.
arcade.
Love it. Thank
Let's
you
go.
so much.
Thank you, Doge. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that, man. Well, that's the game headlines. Thank you, Doge, once again. Let's get into the video game releases of the week. Really short week. Not a lot going on. F1 Manager 2023 comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC on July 31st, which is today. Venbra, never heard of this, comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC also today. And then Baldur's Gate 3, the PC port or version, comes out on August 3rd, which I believe is Friday. Not a lot going on. I would say my pick for the week is Baldur's Gate 3. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know Venbra, and I don't have much interest in F1 Manager. So that's my pick for the week.
I think Baldur's Gate's going to actually be pretty big.
Yeah, I think it will. I think PlayStation is definitely happy that they couldn't get the Xbox version working.
I mean, I feel like it's something that'll happen down the line.
It will, but like it's also a nice little thing for PlayStation because this year, like with Starfield coming out, it's like Xbox is, and even multi-platform. It's like Xbox is really kind of the place to be for Western RPGs. So PlayStation kind of getting that exclusivity of Baldur's Gate unintentionally.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're pretty happy.
Man, we didn't even have to pay for this.
Yeah, this is great. It's like usually we're shilling out all the money for the Sony money. All right, let's get into the topic of the show. Devroro, the news broke today from Video Game Chronicles (VGC). We have some information about Nintendo's next-gen console. According to multiple people with knowledge of Nintendo's next-gen console plans, the company is likely to release new hardware during the second half of 2024 to ensure that it has ample stock available on day one and to avoid the kind of shortages seen with PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. Although specific details on the console are being kept closely guarded, those VGC spoke to indicated that the next-gen console would be able to be used in portable mode, similar to the Nintendo Switch. Two sources VGC spoke to suggested that the console could launch with an LCD screen instead of the more premium OLED in order to bring down costs of the console, especially considering the increased storage needed for higher fidelity games. The current Switch just comes with 32 gigabytes of internal memory, while many current-gen PlayStation Xbox games clock in at over 100 gigabytes. Like its predecessor, the new Nintendo console will also accept physical games via a cartridge slot. So the physical games are back for another generation, Devroro. We've done it. We've succeeded.
Nintendo always makes weird decisions. I hope that...
that is not a weird decision.
No, I know. I'm saying I hope they stick with physical, even
absolutely.
when it becomes weird.
Yeah. Nintendo SA wants to convert as many of the Switch's 100 million plus user base as possible to its next system, although some third-party publishers are said to have expressed concern that legacy support for the Switch's games could negatively affect the sale of next-gen titles. Nintendo did not immediately respond to VGC's request for comment on this story, which I'm not surprised about. Tokyo-based industry consultant Dr. Sirkan told VGC that a 2024 console launch would make sense for Nintendo, since it's projected to see double-digit declines in Switch hardware and software sales this year, after it cleared 7 years in the market. Quote, I would generally say that looking at Nintendo's financials, it seems clear that it's time for a new piece of hardware in 2024, he said. Hardware is already projected to fall 16.5% year-on-year in the current fiscal, while the minus for software is expected to hit 15.9%. The only way to stop these losses from totally ballooning next fiscal is a new device, and the second half of 2024 sounds like a realistic release window to me. ReedPop's head of games, B2B Christopher Dring, told VGC that a 2024 release would fit with Nintendo's historical trend of launching hardware mid-cycle compared to PlayStation and Xbox. The original Switch released over 3 years after the PS4 and Xbox One, which proved to be an effective move for Nintendo. The second half 2024 release for Switch 2 would be nearly 4 years after PS5 and Xbox Series console. So we would see some similar mid-cycle launch for Nintendo. I'd argue that unlike 2017, Microsoft and Sony's consoles still feel relatively new at the moment, partially due to components shortages, slowing the rollout in the first 2 years, and software delays, meaning we've not seen too many titles take full advantage of either PS5 or Xbox Series X. It's to be seen whether Nintendo will enjoy the same. So we also found out that third parties have dev kits for this new console. They have them in their possession. So, let's recap what we know. 2024, second half of the year release. Physical slot for cartridges, most likely not going with an OLED screen to save costs because storage is going to be a necessity in this new console. And, dev kits are out. So, Dever, what are your thoughts, your initial thoughts on what you've heard here about Nintendo's next console based off what we know specifically?
The only thing that worries me is the backwards compatibility is still up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I feel like is because I think that's really important for me, especially with the Switch.
Okay.
The Switch's catalog, I love their games. It's weird to have something so successful and to just, we're on to the next thing, and that's just what Nintendo does. But I want them to capitalize on it.
Ty says in the chat they're going to need to spend a lot of cash advertising the new device. It has to be clear, it's the Switch 2, not Pro or Switch X. Switch.
I think they'll be okay with that. I don't think they're going to do a Wii
U.
U. Yeah, I don't think they'll.
Oh,
I don't think they'll do a Wii U. But I don't know. You never know.
I think that the Wii U, it is so fascinating the ripple effect that the Wii U had on Nintendo in the years that have followed. Because number one, it is also important to note that because of the Wii U failing as bad as it did, Nintendo was forced to kind of jump the next gen early. So they do come halfway through the Xbox and PlayStation cycle, which is very fascinating. Amongst other little things.
Do you think they should call it the Switch 2 if it is a successor?
Oh,
maybe like Super Switch,
man.
or do you stay away from that? Do you think?
I mean, I think that there is a historical significance for them to call the system the Super Switch.
I agree, but
I also don't think that Switch 2 is a great name.
Switch 2 does get the point across better.
I guess
than Super Switch, because then Super Switch kind of is like the Wii U is like in that area.
Yeah, they could just decide to go the PlayStation route where it's like PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You know what I mean? So I get it. Yeah. I can see that vision being the way that they.
So I got a question for you guys. What was the difference between the Wii and the Wii U?
Well, the Wii U had the screen, and it was a little bit more powerful. That was about it.
So what if they did the Switch U?
No, they can't do that. They absolutely cannot do that.
Oh yeah.
That Wii to Wii U.
They'd be shooting themselves in the other.
That would be the ultimate just boneheaded move, because one of the biggest reasons the Wii U failed was poor branding. People didn't know what the Wii U was. Even I didn't know what the Wii U was.
I just had to ask you. I had no idea.
No, I understand. I didn't think that it was your idea or anything, but it just. Advanced. So yeah, Ty says the Switch Advance. Maybe.
See, I think Super Switch sounds better.
I like Super
I think it sounds amazing, actually. The Super Switch sounds awesome.
Yeah, because it kind of goes off the legacy of the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then after that, you could do the Switch 64.
I don't know about that.
Then you do Super Mario.
Yeah, there you go. Super Mario. But yeah, no, I think that the Wii U's biggest problem, and it's a lesson of how important branding. Again, perception is the most important thing. So like I say many times here, Nintendo shows off the Wii U and people don't know what it is, so it tanks before it even comes out. It's like, what is this?
I also want to know if there's, because it feels like they're starting over, and not, it feels, just from the outside, it doesn't feel like they're building off of the Switch.
Right.
Which scares me a little. I mean, not having OLED is another thing, because I really like the OLED screens. I've seen them, and I play mostly handheld, so I like that, but
okay.
It sounds like it's going to be more powerful. They're talking about how it's going to need more memory games. They're planning to make bigger games.
Right.
We'll see.
All right. So, Deborah, let's get into a little bit of a discussion, conversation on what we want to see from this next. Let's just, for all intents and purposes, if we get this right, we can say that we got this before anyone else. What do you want to see from the Super Switch? So, let's start with launch game. So, where do you think the Super Switch will be at launch? Because I have an idea.
For launch games,
Yeah.
There's a lot of rumors that we talked about this earlier today about Mario Kart.
Mhm.
There's a lot of rumors of the new Mario Kart
Yep.
are out there, Mario Kart 9. I don't think we'll see it at launch, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did. Probably 3D Mario.
Yep.
Maybe a Donkey Kong. Maybe some form of Kirby because they're pumping out Kirby games. We're not gonna see anything Zelda, I think. Nothing new Zelda, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I think their biggest thing is the 3D Mario.
So I had 4 things that really stuck out to me as possible.
Maybe Donkey.
I don't know Donkey Kong. Number 1 was a mainline 3D Mario. I think that Mario Odyssey came out in 2017. It's at that point, it's going to have been 7 years. They got to be ready to put that out, and I think that they have to be aware of that. And I think that you come out swinging. The Switch came out, Breath of the Wild. The Super Switch is going to be, I think, a 3D. Number 2 on my possibilities, Metroid Prime 4. In fact, I think that you hold off on Metroid Prime 4. I think you can maybe release a Switch version and a Super Switch version. But there is a 3-game trifecta that Nintendo can put out at launch and just get everybody on board on this new. And Metroid Prime 4 is one of them. When they restarted their development of the game, I believe it was 2018 at that point.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, like you completely restarted over and you started development in 2018. 5 years later, sounds like you're making it for your next.
Okay.
That's just my thought process. The fact that we haven't even seen a trailer of it yet, that's what I think. The third thing I had was that new Peach game that was at the Nintendo Direct.
Okay.
I feel like that game was also so vague that I just don't think that's coming to the. I like when they show that in the direct. We actually watched that part of the direct today because we were just kind of hanging out before the show, and
I think that has more of a chance of being on a Switch, like an end Switch game to a launch.
Yeah, exactly, where that comes up on both.
Yeah, I think that comes up on both more so than Metro.
Yeah. Plus, it's like, to be honest, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the Switch just reeks of like, hey, this is the last for the Switch. So that's why I think the Peach game has a real shot to be a Super Switch launch. And then lastly, like you said, I think Mario Kart 9. I think that if Nintendo comes out and they put out a mainline 3D Mario game, Metroid Prime 4, and Mario Kart 9, you have virtually all your bases. You got your fun multiplayer game that people are going to flock to because it's fucking Mario Kart. You're going to have that mainline 3D Mario game that's going to bring a lot of people in. And then the mainline 3D Mario games are going to get like the hardcore but still casual audience. And then you get Metroid Prime 4 and the hardcore gamers are like, let's go. Like Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
So I think for me that's what I would do.
And we were talking about this earlier too, but they're really going to have to do something big with Mario Kart 9. You can't just have, the same characters and new maps and call it Mario Kart 9 and expect people to get excited over that,
Yeah, I think that is a future thing to try to figure out, and it's definitely a topic that we're going to discuss probably on the podcast at some point. We've discussed it in person
Mario Kart
as
9
well.
Level Dash.
Like, what do you do with Mario Kart? What do you do with Smash Brothers moving forward? Because like the Smash Brothers Ultimate and Mario Kart 8 have so much content and they're such completed packages that like I don't know if you could outdo those games. The only thing you can do that I think of is add
Spyro, Crash, and Master Chief, and some maps.
Do it.
Yeah,
I'm so down. Hopefully that's what we do. So I also put like kind of dream game. What is your dream game from Nintendo? Maybe not a launch title, but just in general. Like, what would you like? Like, you have the board of directors in Nintendo.
Something that just popped in my head. We're talking about Smash Brothers. Would be if there is another Smash Brothers. I think this might be sacrilegious to say, but maybe a 3D fighter.
Okay.
With Smash Brothers, but in a 3D space.
Okay.
Yeah. A new Mario Galaxy.
Mario Galaxy. You want to hear mine?
Mario Galaxy 3. I already know what you're gonna say.
What am I gonna say?
You're gonna say some Zelda game like
no,
Twilight Princess or Wind Waker on?
no.
Okay, what is it?
Pokemon MMO.
Okay,
Give me what I want. Give me a world.
you want a live service Pokemon game?
I want a live service Pokemon game.
I
I
didn't
absolutely
see
do. You're
that coming.
goddamn right I do.
You guys
Pokemon-
want to hear mine?
Wait, hold on. What'd you say, Dev?
Pokemon Go. That's a live service.
No, it's not. It's terrible. Anyway, yes, Jeff, I want to hear yours.
So I want
Arms too.
the
Where is
world of Nintendo, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in a Fortnite setting of battle royale, of like I can be Link with my sword and my bow and arrow, and we're hunting each other down in some massive map. Like, I'm a huge battle royale fan. I'm sure I'm gonna get shit on for this. A lot of people are starting to not like the genre, but I love battle royales. And to see something where like we could have a bunch of different characters, maybe just the Zelda world would work, just shooting arrows at each other and all, I would love it.
I would also love it, to be honest. All right, so Devroro, the system itself. Let's talk about the system itself. What do you want to see from the Super Switch in terms of the system?
Well, I have the OG Switch.
Yeah, I do too.
I didn't upgrade to the OLED. I would love a console with smaller bezels. The screen is like
Smaller what?
bezels, like around the screen. Like
Okay, yeah.
Bigger screen, brighter screen. I'm okay with like a 3-4 hour, like 4 hour battery is probably really good for me. I don't need anything that,
Okay.
What else? I'm using a third party thing to actually hold it because holding that Switch with nothing on it is kind of uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, so I have like a third party controllers or like a third party case over the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it all like, something like that. Thicker controllers. I don't know. I think the number one thing is I just want backwards compatibility. That's like my biggest thing.
So for me, I mean, like,
And keep your online service. Just move it from point A to B.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
we have I have a service tab to kind of close it.
All right.
So in terms of the console itself, for me, I just want it to be what it is now, but more powerful. And like you said, I think backwards compatibility is so important. I don't know if you go like the DS route, where like the DS or the Game Boy Advance route, where you could fit like the new Game Boy Advance cartridges in, and also the Game Boy Color cartridges.
Yeah.
Like same hole, same slot, but different components can fit in there. If they could do that, I think that would be the most ideal way to go.
Something that TJ just said reminds me of Subspace Emissary, which I think you want.
Yeah, yeah. That is also my other dream game, where it's like Subspace Emissary, the game.
Yeah.
Like, yes, absolutely. That's what I want.
TJ's idea right there for a game is incredible. I like that too.
I've been pitching that for years, to be honest.
Yeah,
Personally,
if you played Smash Brothers Brawl, right, on the Wii, they had a game mode where it's essentially that. It's a Nintendo universe.
It was called the Subspace Emissary, and it's a story mode with all the Smash Brothers characters.
Yeah, and
it's so cool.
And they kind of do it not cinematically as well.
They do.
No, I'm saying on the Switch. Oh yeah,
okay.
I'm talking about
on the Switch.
Yeah, I'm talking about Ultimate. They kind of do the same thing with all the characters, but
there's no cutscenes or anything.
Yeah. Subspace Emissary did it better.
Absolutely.
In terms of cutscenes, I think the gameplay I like the Switch version better.
Sure.
But the cutscenes, it was like a movie. You could just watch it.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, like it was pretty good.
It's that good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing's cooler than Fox McCloud flying his R-wing around and Sheik ninja poofs onto the R-wing and just punches into the glass. Yeah. That happens in it. Yeah. That's I didn't make that up. That fucking happens. Yeah. It's so cool.
See it in the Mario movie 4.
Nick Fury's like, Mario, I'm here to talk to you about the Smash Brothers initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want a more powerful Switch. Like, you've perfected this model where you can make everybody happy. It's unique. It's got the Joy-Cons. Like, I also want my controllers to carry over because, like, I just bought a Zelda Pro controller for Tears of the Kingdom that I want to use for
at least the Pro controllers. Yeah.
But the thing is, I also really love my Skyward Sword Joy-Cons. Like, I'm someone who keeps my console docked, and by having those Joy-Cons, I effectively made my Switch a Zelda Switch. So, like, I don't want to be able... Like, I want to be able to have those Joy-Cons still be useful.
Another possibility is you saying that and me thinking of, like, the naming thing. It can be Switch V3, you know? We had the OG Switch, you had the OLED Switch, now we have Switch version 3.
So you're going to go the Xbox route instead of the PlayStation route.
Switch becomes a series, and now you're on version 3 of the Switch, where everything's the same.
Okay.
You just have a more powerful unit in your hand.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could see that.
They did it with DS, the DS line. Just keep doing that.
Yeah.
People will buy it. That's what we want. And I know Nintendo's the company that takes risks. So I don't want to take that away from them. You know, that's how we got to the Switch. But I don't know.
I don't think you need to take any more risks. You've won. Nintendo, you've won.
Oh, there's no stopping. There's VR. They haven't even touched VR.
That's the next console.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we know everyone loved the Switch, but we just said, screw all that.
That's such a Nintendo thing to do.
Here's a VR headset.
Yeah,
Like,
for
people are like
real.
strapped to the chair, like, no, I just want to play Pokemon and Zelda
But you will. You'll play Pokemon in
in
VR.
virtual reality. It's
Yeah.
like, eyeballs melting. Okay, and so lastly, let's talk about the services of the Switch, the infrastructure of the Switch, or of the Super Switch. I think that just in general, Nintendo needs to invest in a better infrastructure. I think they need to take a page out of Xbox's book and completely double down on their NSO. I think, like you said, do not start over for the love of...
Because it took them forever just to get to where they're at. You know what I mean?
We're just now 7 years in getting Game Boy.
Yeah. So it's like, don't start over,
Here's
man.
the thing. Here's the Nintendo. Here's the rare crossover going on right now. You don't even know what's going on right now. Nintendo is the greatest game company in the world. They have a backlog of decades of legacy content, and they consistently make us repurchase and wait for NES games year after year after year. The fact of the matter is that the Wii had these NES games available, and then we had to wait years until the Wii U got the NES, and then we had to wait years again for the Switch to get the NES game. Enough of that. No more. It should just carry over. When I log on to my Super Switch on day one, I should be able to open up my NSO and just play any game that they have available. And I'll go one step further, and I understand Nintendo likes to remake games, and they can still remake these games because people will buy the remakes of these games.
People want to pay Nintendo.
I want to pay Nintendo very badly.
Yeah.
You should have your entire catalog available. There is no reason why on the Super Switch, you boot up the NSO and you can't just play any first-party Nintendo game ever made.
I was gonna say, yeah.
There's no reason that, like Pokemon. I don't care what the reason is. It's not good enough. You telling me that you have the Game Boy emulator on the Switch and there's no Pokemon games? You mean to tell me that there are still games that are not available from like the N64 days? The fact that you haven't done GameCube games yet, like. I understand, but I'll take it back. I don't understand because you've made a console that can literally play all of your previous games minus the DS and the 3DS. So, like, why aren't Wii games going to be on? Wii games need to be on there because the Joy-Cons are Wii remotes. They play like Wii remotes. There is no reason why Nintendo can't double down on their infrastructure, and I think that is the most important thing that they need to do. They need to sit down and say, hey, welcome to the Super Switch. We have the new experiences. If you pay for the NSO, here is our entire first-party backlog. Because the only games that I can think of that they reasonably couldn't get.
I wanted to talk about this. I know what you're gonna say.
Are the games that Rare own.
Oh, okay.
And Rare and Xbox and Nintendo have been working very well together. GoldenEye is on the NSO and Game Pass. Banjo-Kazooie's on the NSO. Like, there's no reason why Donkey Kong 64 can't come to the NSO. There's no reason for these things. What was your point?
Real quick before I get to mine, I want to see. TJ said, "Do you think Nintendo's worried about all these new handhelds coming out?" And I don't think they are at all.
I don't think they are, but they probably should be.
I don't think they are, and I don't think they should be because, first of all, those companies saw what Nintendo did and like, this is working. We need to do this.
Right.
They're making handheld PCs. I mean, except for the Steam Deck, which just feels like a handheld console. Everything else feels like a handheld PC, and they're not good yet. Maybe they should be worried, but Nintendo still has Nintendo's IP behind it, and that's why I don't think the Switch has to worry. I think the Switch is still going to be a household, or whatever Nintendo product will still be a household thing, especially if they're keeping their price under $400 or whatever. I think they're safe.
So I think that, to kind of go off of what Ty is saying about, like, should Nintendo be worried? I don't think they should be worried, but I think they should be aware that this is real competition for them in this space, and that's why you need to lean on your legacy content.
Yeah, but, like, should Xbox be worried that a new version of a PC is coming? You know what I mean? Like,
well, no, because Microsoft runs on PC.
or PS. Neither is Sony. You know what I mean? Sony's not worried about like the next. Like these consoles are supposed to be an easier way. They're gaming consoles, and besides the Steam Deck, everything else is a handheld PC, and they're all in the $1,000 range.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Nintendo should.
So
worry.
before you get into your point that you were going to say about the NSO,
Doge, I want to.
yeah, I was going to say Doge says that he wants a dark Pokemon game. Don't care what genre, but dark as hell for adult. Rated M for mature. I would love
agree.
that. I would
that would be
agree.
so fun.
Please take liberties with the Pokemon franchise. I don't need a new game with 100 new Pokemon slapped in there.
They will never make a rated M Pokemon.
No, they
game,
never will.
But
never. Man.
Something
That makes
darker
me
would be
think.
cool.
It makes me think of like some people are doing testing on Pokemon or something, and someone's like, "I'm breaking it and killing everyone."
Well, so I was gonna say it's not rated M, but Pokemon Coliseum on the GameCube, it gets pretty dark. You're stealing Pokemon from trainers in that.
Yeah,
that's an official Nintendo game. Great game, good game, very enjoyable game. Pretty dark, not a nice world that Pokemon Coliseum.
That would be fun though.
I agree. Anyway, so your point about the NSO.
Oh, so it also goes together with our thumbnail. How do we get 3DS games or DS games, I should just say, in general, onto the Switch? Because that seems like it's a proper progression that we're getting there. DS is huge. It's their best-selling game.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that you would want to resell those games because people would. I'd Professor Layton. I haven't played all of them. I want to play that whole series. I would love to rebuy those games.
Oh, for sure. I said earlier, if you could eliminate that hardware issue, at that point, like all the Zelda games will be on the next Nintendo console for sure.
Yeah. That's another thing that made me think of it.
Yeah, I think that go the route that they're doing with Luigi's Mansion, where it's like they're porting at the Switch, turn it into a Switch game, turn it into a game that doesn't need the two screens. Obviously, that's not going to work for everything, and maybe this next console has some sort of peripheral or like something like that, where it's like maybe you put a dongle on your dock. On the TV, and then you have the two screens.
That's what I was going to say. The TV, it becomes.
If that happens, by the way, please make sure we say like
we did it first.
We called this
turning the Switch into a Wii U.
I'm making another prediction that the dock is going to have a mode where you can send one screen to the TV and one screen to the handheld, and then that's how you play the DS game.
Because as unfortunate as it was for the Wii U to die, it was a 3DS for your TV. That's all it was, and it's such a great idea because the 3DS.
So I said on record, I've said to people for years that the Wii U was the best Zelda machine because you like obviously Breath of the Wild and Twilight and Tears of the Kingdom did away with all the inventory and stuff, which I missed very much. Mm-hmm. But on the old Zelda games, you would have your entire sub menu screen in your hand. So it's like, oh, I need the iron boots, drag,
or you can just have the map right there in your hand. You don't have to open the map.
All of it, yeah.
There's so much to do with a second screen.
Yeah, I mean, like we dunk on the Wii U for being a failure, but. Some really cool ideas there.
It was just 3DS for the TV. Like that's what it was. So like if they can find a way to make the Switch that so you can have 3DS games in their original form on there so they just have to port them, no extra work.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I think that'd be cool.
Well, so yeah, that's pretty much what I have. What I would like to see, again, just to sum it up, launch with Mario and Metroid Prime and Mario Kart. Make it more powerful than the original Switch. And just triple down on the NSO. Backwards compatibility is a must. Have 99% of your first-party catalog there.
Add GameCube games.
That's what I'm saying, 99% of your first-party catalog. Like, get as much of it on there as you can. And, like, just go from there, man. And then, like, people will continue to pay for it. Ty says Wii U was terrible. It had to have the same graphics as current gen or not. The screen trade-off was horrible.
I mean, it's just like, for me, it was like the idea of it. Because I loved my 3DS. So much. I played it. I played it all the time. I played as much as I play the Switch now. So it's like, I wanted the Wii U. The idea of the Wii U, I think, wasn't terrible.
Right.
The execution of it was, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see. I'm excited to hear more. I mean, I assume we'll probably hear more in about 6 or 7 months from now. Yeah. Probably February, March will be a good time to start hearing.
It'll probably be March. We'll hear like March, Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, like a crazy presentation.
This summer.
No, I do think it's going to go for like a fall. Like a fall. It's going to be a fall. If they're saying for 2024.
Bottom of the 9th, 4-2 Phillies winning.
Oh no. Well, they needed it too. That was embarrassing. I need a few days off. All right. Well, I think that's going to just about do it for us here on the Game Room Podcast. Closing thoughts on Nintendo or anything? I don't think we covered it. Okay. Dev, you're still working on Tears of the Kingdom. I'm playing Zelda Oracle of Ages. Like I said, I watched the Last of Us show. This really good.
Yeah,
Really
it's a good
enjoyed
show.
it. Yeah, it's so. I like that they actually did go off of like it doesn't follow the games fully, but it expands on the characters in the game.
Yeah, you find out how Ellie is immune. I think it's cool.
It's really
All right, spoiler alert. I'm so sorry.
oh shit, you asshole.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, actually,
don't say anything else.
yeah.
No, yeah, I guess it doesn't. It's not really a spoiler.
Yeah, it wasn't a spoiler.
Yeah, yeah. You
It's
do
a light
find it.
spoiler. It was a spoiler light.
It's a very light spoiler. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, if you watch the show, you're gonna learn.
But no, yeah, I think it was cool. I wonder what they'll do for season 2. I wonder how close they'll stick to.
Oh God, please don't follow this. The game. Go as out there as you can. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fan of some of the.
Really? Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything, but like there are a few things in the game that I just don't. I'm like, why would you do that? Like that's just doing things just for the sake of being like shock factor. I don't like when things do things to be shocking. I like when things do things to be meaningful. Like that's why I didn't enjoy Game of Thrones.
Well, let's talk about it when we close it because I'm curious. What you didn't like for shock value.
Yeah, I just feel like they did. Yep.
I would hate that.
Well, so my follow up point would be: so you would expect the player to hold a controller in one hand and then your phone in another? I don't know. Well, so the B-roll is Ocarina of Time 3DS, so it's a 3DS game he's streaming, and I'm guessing it just has the it has the second screen. Yeah, it just has it there to show what he's doing on. But yeah, I mean, we'll look into it. We'll talk more in the future in the coming months and coming years. In the meantime, make sure you follow us on our social medias down below. Fortunately, they got me last night when I was sleeping. I am now on. I mean, I'm still calling it Twitter, but I woke up this morning and my blue bird was gone.
Twitter X.
Yeah, so come follow my Zeets on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm not again. I'm from Philadelphia and it's Franklin Mills. I will never not call it Franklin Mills. It is Twitter. I'm going to be tweeting at Franklin Mills this weekend. I don't care. I'm not doing it. Follow us on our social medias down below. Subscribe to become a member, just like the Doge did today. Once again, thank you, Doge. Get access to our really cool arcade cabinet badge and all of our little cool wrestling emojis. So make sure you check that out as well. We will be back on Wednesday night for our AEW Dynamite review for the Broken Tables podcast, and back possibly Saturday night, hopefully maybe Sunday, to do the Collision review. Jeff, thank you so much for producing the show, and we will catch you guys